And we're back with the Ango podcast, a BBM product. This week we're doing a top 10 of the top 10 soundtracks for movies. And go.
What you got, Mike?
I already know what my number one is.
Your number one?
Yeah.
Will it be our
I'm going to start
number one?
strong. Let's see. Baby Driver. Edgar Wright's masterpiece. I'm mad I didn't see it in theaters. Edgar Wright, similar to James Gunn, Edgar Wright kind of picked each song that he wanted after reading the screenplay to put in the movie. There are beats in the movie that match up perfectly to the song chosen. I mean, you talk about integrating a soundtrack with a movie. It does not, which is, we should clarify, the metric here is not what has the best collection of songs. The metric is what fits best with the movie and or brings home.
And
whatever
no
the movie's
Disney
trying
or
to.
musicals in this list. We'll probably get to that after this song fatigue wears off.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. So that said, I don't think it gets much better than Baby Driver. Not only with the song's choice, it fit perfectly with the movie. I mean, there wasn't much emotion. It's not a very emotional movie. It's very much a popcorn flick, but the songs fit perfectly with what's going on.
Yeah, it was
Baby
also
Driver's
on
my
my
number one.
list. Since you brought up James Gunn, you got to bring up Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep, that was on my list as well.
No, I think we can all agree on that. I don't think it's the top one, but it definitely should be in the list.
One of the greatest opening scenes in any movie, I think. I wouldn't put it in the top. I put it in the top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy. Best opening scenes in a movie. Mainly because of the song.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. It fit perfectly. Like, he brings it up later. These are the mixtapes that him and his mom made, pop hits from when she was young. It's excellent, excellent choice.
My choice is going to probably be a little bit lesser known film, Varsity Blues.
Oh, Varsity Blues. I do remember that soundtrack, and it did fit the film. A little yeehaw for my taste, but it fit the film well.
Yeah.
And that's probably the only film I liked. Dawson's Creek, Vanderbeek, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Beaker
yeah.
from the Muppets.
Although I'd say the soundtrack wasn't like full of country music, though, surprisingly.
Yeah. No, they did a good job of mixing it up. I'd
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, I said a little yeehaw for my taste, but
The film or the music, though, that's what I'm saying.
the whole thing. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
still enjoyed it thoroughly. Let me just throw out two that I did not think of when I was thinking the list, but The Faculty and Disturbing Behavior had pretty good soundtracks. I wouldn't put it at the top, but they're worth mentioning here.
I was going to say The Faculty, yeah.
For the first time listeners, strap yourself in for some good old 90s and 80s nostalgia,
Right?
by the way.
Yeah, not like music really can fit unless it's a party movie nowadays. All the party and dance songs out.
Woo!
Rock is dead.
Rock is not dead.
Okay, it's hibernating. It's like the mummy from a movie, or it
No, we're
comes
just
up every
old,
so
bro.
often.
We are old. That's the difference maker here. We're no longer...
That's because we have more knowledge, and we know that previous eras were much more epic because everything, pretty much the AIs are taking over. The movie by committee is the standard. Argue
always
with
been
me
that
if you
way.
want.
Actually, I kind of have to agree with Brian on this one. They've kind of proven that a lot of music has gotten progressively crappier because they're basing it more on like metrics and what will sell and that kind of crap than they were
Well,
before.
that's the thing. What will sell? It's always been what will sell. And the taste of today's generation, the Zoomers, I think they're called now, their tastes are just different than ours. They like mumble rap. I hate mumble rap. They like fucking Gucci Gang or whatever. I can't stand that shit. Hip hop is dead, if anything.
Well, let me throw in my one anime reference in this. Care on Tuesday on Netflix sort of is a commentary on the music genre. Pretty much everyone does use AIs to make music in this future Mars colony. And two little girls, well, teenage girls, get together and start writing their own music. And it's like, oh, how quaint. You write your own music without AI. I think it's almost a commentary on how much we use computers to mass market music now. Done with my anime.
Honestly, that's a fun idea. That's a fun idea, but I'm pretty sure it's just that they wrote an anime about literally anything else you could possibly imagine. Is there a call center anime? I'm sure there's got to be, right?
Well, this is a recent trendy. Just because you guys aren't into it, I need to start a podcast with other anime people. But moving on.
Plus, Mike, I'm not really sure that how you could sit there and talk about how we've just gotten old when you've always your music preference has always been just stuff from like the 60s and 70s anyway.
Well, can you hear me, by the way? Can you still hear me?
Uh-huh.
I think my video may have conked out. But you're not wrong about that.
You were like 15 and being like, I can only listen to the Beatles and that one song from America. That's it.
I also liked OK Go. I liked
White Stripes. You were a big White Stripes
I liked
guy.
the White Stripes. I liked the Hives. Yeah, so I was hip. I was with it. But you're not wrong on the whole. I think that there's something called the 20-year cycle where things come back into popularity after 20 years.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into it here.
Such like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we had all those distressed. That the distressed clothing thing was a trend for us when we were kids. Is my video frozen for you guys as well?
No, I see you.
Okay.
All of your glorious detail. So
yeah, on my end,
I'm pretty sure you guys are going to bring up High Fidelity at some point, but I have a different Cusack for this list, Grosse Pointe Blank.
Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure if I really remember. I've seen the movie a lot, but soundtrack doesn't stick out in my mind.
Well, it stuck out more than High Fidelity, but that was more of a romance. Why Grosse Pointe Blank had the action. I think it had better comedy. It was a better dark comedy. You know, Assassin goes back for his high school reunion. Talking about high school reunions, yeah. Roni and Michelle's high school reunions up here with me also.
Well, let's not move on from Grosse Pointe Blank just yet. First of all, it was the only dark comedy between that and High Fidelity. High Fidelity was not a dark comedy. I have a lot of mixed feelings about High Fidelity's soundtrack, to be completely honest. Some of the songs I love, shout out the Beta Band. Some of the songs I cannot stand.
Yeah.
Now, did they fit the movie? Yeah, they did, actually, really well. Because John Cusack's character was this mix of
awkwardness.
Was he depressed because he listened to pop music, or did he listen to pop music because he was depressed? Was the whole underlying theme of that movie. So Grosse Pointe Blank, which I briefly Googled. That's definitely a love letter to 90s alt rock.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, it had one of the best soundtracks. It fit the film. It was quite a good film overall. I think that's Cusack's best mixture.
I put both on the list. But I'm sorry, you were saying you were moving on to something else?
I said Roni and Michelle's high school reunion, and that was more of a love letter to the 80s, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time putting that on the numbered list, to be honest. But, Bill?
For my next one on the list, probably Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare a defense for it. I have a defense for Roni and Michelle, but we'll give you Forrest Gump. Unless anyone wants to argue.
No, it had a unique opportunity to blend that fucking Creedence Clearwater Revival Vietnam music with something a little bit more tame, as it were. Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. For Roni and Michelle, they had Just a Girl, no doubt. That was probably the most modern. time after time. That was extremely effectively used in the song. You think it's overdone?
Yeah.
Okay. Venus by I'm Your Venus by Bananarama.
Your desire. Yeah.
I mean, it's had Tears for Fears, Everyone Wants to Rule the World, and it fit very well. All these songs were timed very well with each one of these, but maybe honorable mention in case I can get one of you guys or we have worse songs on the list.
Well, it doesn't help that I haven't seen it.
It does sort of hurt.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you Google the lineup, you'll see a lot of great 80s songs. They have some 90s songs.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that, right? You're saying each musical choice fit really well with what was going on?
Yes, I would say about
unfortunately,
80% of it fit really well with the film.
Okay.
Bill, did you ever catch that flick?
Romy and Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
How did you think it stacks up? I would say about
I think they do
80% of the
pretty-
songs sort of fit.
I think they do a pretty good job, with matching the songs up. Yeah, because that was kind of the whole deal. Was they were
Nostalgia.
connecting to, their high school and the whole dance, kind of theme or whatever, to the film. So yeah.
Mike, got any more?
Yeah, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Not familiar with that one.
with Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill. A lot of obscure, it's a movie based on that old 70s show, I think it was. A lot of really good period specific choices. It was almost like a espionage kind of caper, but it was also very lighthearted, did not take itself seriously at all. Fun flick, at the very least. I highly recommend a watch if you happen to see it. I can't name any specific songs because some of them are very obscure, but I thought it fit perfectly with what they were going for, the whole vintage espionage kind of vibe.
It's going to be a hard one to rate, but we'll gauge you for it and see if what you think on the list is better or worse than it.
Gauge me, daddy!
But
Gauge
the fact that
me.
you can't name any songs sort of hurts it a little.
I can send you one. Let me see.
Okay. Bill, got any more while I'm holding my load?
I
got a few
holding
more.
your load. Joe Dirt.
Okay, Joe
okay?
Dirt. I mean, Joe Dirt, I can't think anything stuck out, but that movie was just good. I liked the movie, but I can't
dare
remember
you
any
ask that
songs
as a
sticking
question.
out from it.
What'd you say, Mike?
How dare your voice go up? That it was good? How dare you, Brian?
What, the question mark?
Yes.
It was one of those weird things.
I don't know. I think the music was good. It's fun to listen to. It matched a lot of traveling music, which he does throughout the film. So,
Yeah.
Kind of fits the whole deal.
Yeah.
And it's all got that kind of like going south vibe. Like
A little bit of hairband in there
with
also.
him with his
See, that's
stupid
probably
mullet,
why
so
it really
the whole
didn't
deal kinda
stick out
fits.
to me. The redneck, the dude has the same problem as me. He can't really grow a beard.
So you mean to tell me that your facial hair, you're so ingrained with white trash DNA that your facial hair just grows in all white trashy like that? Right?
That was a great lie.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. For what it was.
And of course, I already pre-warned you, Girl Next Door. Why is it
Yeah.
the greatest soundtrack? It's worth bringing up because it has, I would say 50% of the movie, probably a little more, fit the music rather well. And they have a rather eclectic list because they have some classic songs, then they have some really weird songs that's meant to make you feel you're in a porno, because that was sort of the gist of the series. They have some porno-tastic style
The jizz
songs.
of the series. Yeah.
So a lot of the songs won't actually be good songs, but they fit the film.
Sure.
Like the break-in, the Vegas song, the awkward teenageness. They have some band called Nerd. I remember that one well. I think I had the soundtrack to this. I'm looking at a list now, but only a few jump out at me. But I remember it working really well in the film, and that beginning, classic. Under Pressure is the greatest. You can't go wrong starting with Under Pressure when you're doing a teenage story about an awkward teen.
Teenage Wasteland. Sorry.
I could have swore they put that in that movie, but I'm not seeing it on the list. But
I have one that I thought of as we were talking, and one that I had ready to go. I'll go with the one that I thought of while we were talking first. It's The Big Lebowski.
okay.
A movie that made me appreciate Kenny Rogers as a musician and not just a Mad TV sketch and or roasting rotisserie restaurant.
Got some damn good chicken.
This chicken was the shit, though. Fuck
Yeah, it
Boston
was.
Market.
Yeah.
We were going to Kenny Rogers at the Limerez household. I also had. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Okay.
I knew someone was going to
Because-
say it.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that all the original songs were written by Beck, who I believe to be our generation's Bob Dylan.
Okay, I can
Okay.
see that. I mean, I like the songs. They fit
And
the
all that
films they're in.
entails.
And all that entails.
They were very.
Except for the not being able to sing part. Fuck you, Bill. I see what you're trying to do there. Don't try to disrespect Beck in some roundabout manner, okay?
He's a weird music writer, but it would fit the tone of that video game inspired film.
I mean, honestly, it was almost a score because so much of the music was written specifically for the movie. But I digress.
You also lost audio there for a bit.
Yeah.
It was almost a score because a lot of the music was written specifically for the movie.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Okay.
And that's actually the reason I didn't bring that one up. was
Yeah,
because of
that's
that.
the only reason. I remember the music being really epic, but almost completely original.
What else you got?
Watchmen, the movie.
Mm.
Love it, hate it. The music worked for it. I believe that was Edgar Wright.
No, that was Zack Snyder.
Okay, Zack Snyder. Yeah, probably his best superhero movie. Actually, no clue. I know he did the DC Super Friends crappy thing. And didn't he also do Batman vs. Superman? Or was that someone else?
No, that's him.
Okay, yes.
Did you
I
call
like-
it Super Friends? You mean the Justice League?
Yeah.
Super Friends.
Well, that movie's not worth mentioning in its real name.
It's not.
I do not want to give that movie any more respect than it deserves.
How you gonna make Justice League without a Green Lantern?
Thank you, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We get Aquaman? Aquaman
Right?
gets his own. I mean, it's been like 10 years since the other Green Lantern. The Green Lantern we do not speak of.
Plus they've rebooted everything else. Just get a new fucking
Yes!
Green Lantern and move on.
It's such a fascinating universe.
Because they couldn't write their way out of a paper bag and they didn't know what to do with Superman as it was, so they're like, oh, another OP superhero?
Fuck yeah, man. Give my man GL another shot. Honestly, just take Green Lantern out of the fucking DC, whatever the fuck you're calling it, universe. Just give him. You got this whole universe to explore. Just do that. Anyway.
Sell them to Marvel. Right?
Yes, yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Green Lantern would be, well, Captain Marvel is almost like a Green Lantern. Space Cop was.
Yeah.
Quick side note, is Captain Marvel worth a watch?
I think so. I don't think it deserved all the hate, that it got.
As long
Bunch
as
of
you can
incels
deal
that
with,
were angry at the whole woman thing, and
as long as
and
you
they-
can deal with some logical inconsistency, some forced parts, overall, yes. And Nick Fury getting his eye scratched out at the end. As long as you can get over those three things. Said there
You
was
mean watching comic book movies.
500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, all right, not a bad choice.
I
Not a
mean,
bad
it's
choice.
definitely worth an honorable mention. Had a good upbeat that fit the film.
All right, I'm gonna throw one out there. Hear me out.
Okay.
Space Jam. Tell me I'm wrong. Think of every scene in Space Jam.
Sorry,
And,
R. Kelly just pisses all over everything that
And
he
everyone.
touches.
Yeah, and everyone.
Yeah.
I want to piss on you. Drip, drip, drip.
Okay.
But I think we brought this up on the podcast before. At what point do you separate, the artist from the person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and are you going to let R. Kelly ruin Space Jam for everyone? I
It's
think
not ruined. It just
It's a little
yeah.
soggy.
A
Come
little
on,
soggy
Slam.
now, thanks to him. I mean, yeah, I'll agree. The music fit for the most part.
Yeah.
Had some tasty jams.
Gonna put it on the list. Space Jam.
Okay.
Speaking of tasty jams, School of Rock.
Yeah, or for that matter, Pick of Destiny, man.
I can't think of any particular scene where there was a song in Pick of Destiny that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean the scene that I didn't like very much, the trip out scene, I think had the best music in it, and that was the scene
Well, the
I
best-
disliked.
I really like the song Master Exploder,
Yeah.
that played in Jables and Classico was good. Another Tenacious D song. I'll put it on the list. We can always check it later.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing as Scott Pilgrim. It's mostly stuff written by Tenacious D for their own film. So it's kind of,
Sure. Yeah.
it's
fair.
on the line there,
Yeah.
I got Watchmen in there, right?
Yeah. You gotta watch it.
Okay. Dazed and Confused.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Definitely
Totally agree.
fit.
Yeah.
Every song,
Good call.
say 90% fit the film.
And excellent movie. I think JP actually still has my copy of that on VHS, unless he checked it, which he probably did, because I would. Freddy Got Fingered was the last one I had on my list. Say what you want. I remember after the second time I saw it, maybe,
That had
I
a,
thought to myself, man, this is a solid soundtrack.
did it have a wah soundtrack?
It was very much like, who would I equate it to? Very much like The Faculty. It was very of its time.
Well,
I'm putting it on the
also,
list. Fuck
the
you all.
last thing I got is Pulp Fiction. All the songs fit their scenes.
Yeah, a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies do have really solid soundtracks. That's a good
I'm
point.
going to throw out Pitch Perfect.
Again, almost a score, but yeah, I'll allow it.
I mean, I know you're a little old for that one, Mike, but, it had some pretty good music in it.
My video still works, right? Pitch Perfect. I missed one. What was the other one you hit, Brian?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
I mean, say what you want about Tarantino and his movies in the future. That one definitely was a good film that matched its soundtrack. I think he was one of the first people who really built their movie around soundtracks.
I own the vinyl copy of Django Unchained's soundtrack, and I like it a lot.
I can
but I might
imagine.
leave it off the list here. Yeah, you know I love that fucking movie, guys.
That
So.
movie's good. I thought about watching it recently, but
It's on Netflix now. It's on
yeah,
Netflix.
that's why I thought about watching it. But then
You should.
I've seen it like twice already.
Your baby's still young enough to not know what the fuck's going on. So.
Yes,
Why,
Just-
why my
just-
baby turn out so racist?
just cuddle with her while watching Tarantino movies. She won't turn out messed up.
No way. No way. All right, so we're at like 25 at this
Back to
point.
the Future.
Thank you. Okay.
right.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah,
That's also
No,
on
that was it.
Netflix, I think. All
Yeah,
the
we'll-
Back
we'll
to the
stop
Futures.
there.
So
It is. Listen to this.
yeah.
okay, we have enough. Let's start narrowing some down.
All right, so I'm going to go through the list. Tell me if there's anything you want to add. We got Baby Driver. We got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Varsity Blues. We got The Faculty. Disturbing Behavior. Gross Point Blank. High Fidelity. Roni Michelle's High School Reunion. Forrest Gump. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Joe Dart. Girl Next Door. Big Lebowski. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The Watchmen. 500 Days of Summer. Space Jam. School of Rock. Pick a Destiny. Dazed and Confused. Freddy Got Fingered. Pitch Perfect, Pulp Fiction, and Back to the Future. Anything else that anyone wants to add? Quick side note, I remember Con Air being
Footloose.
good. Footloose.
Yeah, you gotta at least put one Kenny Loggins soundtrack.
Top
on there.
Gun. Top Gun.
The thing is, though, is Top Gun has the one good Kenny Loggins song. Well, two, but the rest of it's crap. That's the only reason
What?
I didn't say Top Gun.
Yeah.
No Dirty Dancing,
Yeah.
Bill?
Eh.
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
going
think if
vote
there's
for
anything
it.
else.
With Footloose being on there, you figure some Dirty Dancing getting on.
I mean,
I had
good
9.
music, but
Yeah. The story was annoying. I hate anything instantly if Kevin Bacon's in it, so and not being killed.
yeah, Footloose had a great soundtrack.
I think you can put Spirit of the Sky in literally any movie, in almost any scene, and it'd be good. Just as a side note, I'm not referencing anything specific here, but Spirit of the Sky might be the most movie song of all time.
Yeah,
The most movie song.
because there was a couple others I was thinking about, like when I was looking through to build a list, like The Sandlot, and I think that might be in there. I'm not sure if it is, but it had that kind of vibe. Kind of all, of course, it was period specific, all like 50s, music. So
Yeah.
Since we want to appeal to a female demographic and a
we?
nostalgic
Do we?
demographic, Roni and Michelle should go first. That's my only argument for that. It's totally bullshit, but if we
In
want
my
to
humble
appeal to
opinion.
feminists, Roni and Michelle might, well, they were so. Okay, I withdraw that.
In my humblest of opinions, looking through this list, unless anyone has anything to add,
Stand By Me.
I don't remember any songs
Nope.
from that movie.
I love that movie, but
I was
I
gonna
don't.
say you love that. Yeah,
But
a lot of-
I like the movie, but I don't remember any.
a
nothing
lot of
stood
Buddy
out.
Holly and kind of stuff. Lollipop, Yakety Yak, Let the Good Times Roll, Every Day, Great Balls of Fire,
I mean, again, collection
and
of
course,
great
Stand
songs.
By Me.
Yeah, I think the actual
did
movie
they-
and the emotional overtones sort of overshadowed any of the, feel good teeny bopper songs that they did use in that song.
Oh, at least an honorable mention. Brian brought this up during the score conversation. Requiem for a Dream, because of the Kronos Quartet.
Hmm.
They had that one song that fit perfectly with that movie. I might throw it on the list as an honorable mention if you don't mind.
You have the power, Mike.
So, in my humble opinion, a clear number ones to me are Baby Driver and Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't see Baby Driver. I tried watching it, got bored of it, turned it off.
Really? You got bored?
It seemed
That's
weird
surprising.
and too campy for me. I don't know. I was I would go back and try to watch it again. Maybe it was just the mood I was in, but I was trying to watch it and I was like, it seems weird and campy and not for me. So I changed it, but I don't know. So I don't know anything about the soundtrack. Guardians of the Galaxy, I would definitely put up there.
Yeah, I think Guardians has to be our number one. It's the only one we unanimously all agreed with.
Done.
Okay, I'm looking at Grosse Point Blank. Even before Baby Driver.
Disagree.
What do you think beats Grosse Point Blank?
Okay, name one song from that soundtrack and the scene that it went with. Now I can think of one now that I said that.
Hmm?
Name a scene and a song.
I can't, but
See, now I got your back on this, Brian. That scene where when they were at the high school reunion and he
Yep.
was killing that hitman that was trying to kill him.
yeah,
They had that song "Mirror in the Bathroom."
yeah.
Great song. Great scene. It fit perfectly with what was going on.
Yeah, I didn't actually rewatch any. It's been a while, but I remember the soundtrack fit.
Now, on the flip side, in Baby Driver, when John Hamm is in that shootout against the cops, they were playing Hocus Pocus by Focus, and the shot that he was shooting, spoilers, Bill, shooting at the cops, and the gunshots lined up with the beat of the song. Quality.
I
terms of
remember what you
soundtracks.
were talking about. Again, I've seen that more recently than Grosse Point Blank, but none of this. I can remember if the soundtrack matches up and how I felt about it. In this logic, time after time, Brony Michelle's high school reunion was more impactful. I can remember two
Let's put
scenes.
Napoleon
Just
Dynamite
a
on the list.
girl.
Let's put Napoleon Dynamite on the list then.
Huh?
Let's put Napoleon Dynamite on the list then. Who can't remember the ones? Who doesn't remember the one song? That one song where they were
The one.
Jamiroquai. Yeah, Jamiroquai
Bill,
did the thing.
Do you
where
have
he was
any
dancing.
suggestions for number 2?
Forrest Gump.
Well, I remember it worked well. The soundtrack actually worked well, but it just was it was such an iconic thing. I think that's sort of unfair for Forrest Gump.
Oh, I mean, that was they definitely used music to back up the time period as they shifted. And what would have been like the most applicable to the scene that he was in at that point. So it does really reinforce the film almost throughout.
I just think it's cheating. Okay, it can be number 2, but it cheated to get to that spot.
All right, how about this? How about a compromise? We'll put Forrest Gump at number 2. We'll put Baby Driver at number 3 and Roni Michelle at number 5 and do something else for number 4.
No, that was almost a joke, okay? I want Grosse Point Blank at number 4.
All right, so Guardians, Forrest Gump, Baby Driver, Grosse Point Blank.
I'm going to have to look up Grosse Point Blank because I remember the film almost beginning to end, but I don't really remember the soundtrack playing that big of a part, but possibly.
Well, she was a radio DJ. His
that's
love
true.
interest.
Well, she was a talk, if I recall correctly, I think it was a talk radio show. She was asking people to call in for advice. It's like Frasier. Frasier is the greatest soundtrack of all time because he's on the radio.
She talked, but she was a station that played music. She dedicated a song to him at some point.
At the end.
There's stuff on there. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I could live with that.
Rooney Michelle was good, but it was almost too on point. I wasn't really pushing for it to be too high because it's a little bit. I think actually the faculty should go above Grosse Point. Sorry, not Grosse Point Blank, Rooney Michelle, because that was like too spot on, too nostalgic trip.
I'm tempted to put Varsity Blues at number 5, mainly because I vividly remember TNT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they have My Hero in that song also?
I mean, hot for teacher.
Yeah.
During the teacher stripping scene. I mean,
A little on the nose, but
a little
still
on
good,
the
yeah.
nose, but yeah.
Yeah, they had My Hero also in that. Some Foo
Yeah.
Fighters. I think that's trending on Twitter right now because it's something Dave Grohl posted.
It's a great soundtrack.
I will agree.
On the list, number 5.
I don't want your life.
Probably have to kick out both Disturbing Behavior and the Faculty.
The Faculty.
Yeah, because of
The
that.
Faculty starring Eric Matthews.
We have the one of a time.
Oh, speaking of Eric Matthews, he actually did a guest spot on Critical Role in season 1 there. So,
Is that your one
obligated
obligatory critical role
Yes.
mention of the week?
every third top 10 list? I have to bring up Critical Role at least
They
once.
better start
I'm
giving us
sorry.
money. You know, are you keeping it all for yourself? Is that the deal? Did you strike a deal and you're keeping the money?
Well,
What?
No.
we all have something. Bill, you need to get something you plug almost every other time.
Yeah. Persona. Right?
No, that's
oh wait,
mine.
that's your thing. Right?
If it's not anime,
Bill
it's
has a
Persona.
girlfriend.
I
Yeah.
probably bring it up
Heyo.
more than I don't. Either
Yeah.
anime or Persona. But
Yeah. Anime.
same thing. At least the new Persona.
Pretty much, yeah. So we're booting the Faculty, right? And Disturbing Behavior?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think with Varsity Blues up there, I can't force another very 80s movie. I'm sorry, not 80s, 90s of the time movie.
Dazed and Confused, I would not mind at number 6, honestly.
Audio kicked out.
Dazed and Confused for number 6?
Yeah. I had a really good soundtrack.
Maybe we should choose our number 10. So we still got High Fidelity, Ronnie Michelle's High School Reunion, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Joe Dirt, Girl Next Door, Big Lebowski, Scott Pilgrim, The Watchmen, 500 Days of Summer, Space Jam, School of Rock, Pick of Destiny, Dazed and Confused. Freddy Got Fingered, I'll just boot now. Pitch Perfect, Pulp Fiction, Back to the Future, Footloose, Requiem for a Dream. I feel like Requiem for a Dream is going to wind up as an honorable mention, so I'll just put it there now.
Yep.
I don't know. Back to the Future? Is that an honorable mention? You had some Huey Lewis in the news, you know?
Yeah, I think that should be 10 if we're just picking a 10.
Johnny Be Good. Yeah.
If we're just
I'd
picking
be
a
cool with that,
10,
being a 10.
it was
Yeah.
a good soundtrack. I think it should be on the list.
What about Reservoir Dogs instead of Pulp Fiction?
Mm.
What about Django Unchained instead of Pulp Fiction?
I like Reservoir Dogs though
Okay.
because you had what's his name, Stephen Wright as the radio DJ, playing your favorite songs from the 70s.
I don't remember how it played into the film, though.
Yeah, I think anytime they were in the car, it was that radio station. And then once you got to the scene where spoilers, where the cop cuts off the one guy cuts off the cop's ear, they were still playing that radio station. That was a really cute way of bringing the songs into the movie at the very least.
Well, if you want to put it at 9, I couldn't argue with it. I love that movie.
It's
I'm just not
Bump-
seeing how none of the songs stood out to me.
Stuck in the Middle with You.
Okay,
Who's cutting
yeah,
off that
I do
capsule?
remember that now that you remind me. That was good usage of that song. Sometimes you just need to remind me of some of this stuff.
But versus Pulp Fiction, there were some good song moments in that. What were they?
It's been a while since I've seen Pulp Fiction. That was sort of my outsider pick. I was
Oh, Son of a Preacher Man was good in Pulp Fiction, right? Whatever song it was that they were doing the twist to.
Hmm.
It was a teenage wedding in the. So you're right, Brian. You talked to me. Pulp Fiction number 9. How do you feel about that, guys?
Okay.
Okay.
We can bump it if we want to.
I
I
think
feel like Footloose should make the list.
I don't disagree with that, honestly.
I do, but I have no reasonable objections to it. So you can put it 8.
Um,
Taking a look. Do you want Roni Michelle over the girl next door? I don't know. Roni Michelle was a good soundtrack, but so was the girl next door. It was
all right, so you brought The Girl Next Door up for like the last 3 podcasts. So I think we should put that on the list. I'm going to put Roni Michelle now in honorable mention.
okay.
And we'll take Girl Next Door for number 8. And maybe Footloose for number 7? Or should we bump Footloose back to number 9 and put Pulp Fiction at 6 and Girl Next Door at 7?
Putting Footloose
Thoughts?
back is always good in my book. Sorry, Belle.
What about Joe Dirt? Is that going to make the list?
You bring up some good points about Joe Dirt, to be honest.
Yeah. For some reason, I think of that one scene just from Tommy Boy and not Joe Dirt, though. So that makes me sort of hesitant.
The one where they're singing in the car?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Carpenters.
I'm okay with it if you're okay with it. All right.
I'm gonna bump 500 Days of Summer now, as much as I like Sweet Disposition.
Yeah. I didn't think it really would make the list, but
I'm gonna bump Pick of Destiny for School of Rock.
Yeah.
We never put. Should I put Days Confused at number 6 or?
yeah,
about
that's
this? How about-
definitely a good pick.
I might put Dazed and Confused at number 7, and bump Pulp Fiction to 6, and put Footloose as 9.
Okay.
Okay.
And Back to the Future at 10.
And that's our list. I'm going to put Pitch Perfect in as an honorable mention.
Okay.
We should try to keep honorable mentions to like
5 or
3 or
less.
4, probably. Yeah, 5 or less for sure. Big Lebowski, I'm going to bump entirely. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, I will bump entirely. The Watchmen, I will bump. Unless, Brian. Okay.
I mean, it had the
Uh,
great opening. There was a few spots, but there was a few spots where it really was great music. But I would say only about 50% of the music matched up.
Oh, man, so what did I say? Joe Dirt as honorable mention?
Yep. I think.
Okay.
I
I mean, there was stuff that I would probably bump off the list for Joe Dirt, but
Yeah, no, me too. Or High Fidelity, as yet to be numbered. I would bump any number of these for High Fidelity, honestly, even though I kind of talked shit about it last time we got together.
like for
But-
me, Joe Dirt would bump Pulp Fiction just because I don't know.
It's a more unconventional pick, so I say go with it. Enough lists has paid tribute to Pulp Fiction, I'm betting, so yeah, let's do that.
All right. Joe Dirt in at number 6. I'm going to squeeze High Fidelity in as an honorable mention there.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised neither one of you said Empire Records, but
Good soundtrack.
I love the
but
movie.
That was sort of. It was a
Oh,
music
it's actually-
store.
Oh, fuck, we missed Rex Banding Day. I think it's in April. I think
Mm.
it's April 15th or something. Oh, well. Great flick. Highly recommend. Man from Uncle, Space Jam, and School of Rock is what I have left. Do you want to squeeze any of them in as honorable mentions or no? Maybe Space Jam, honestly.
Yeah, maybe Space Jam. The one
Come
R.
on,
Kelly
Slam.
pissed all over.
Welcome to the jam.
yeah.
And I guess that movie is, well, it's older than 15 years at this point, so it's outside of R. Kelly's.
It's too old for R. Kelly.
Oh God.
It's too old for R. Kelly at this point, yeah.
Oh shit.
Brian, do you want me to go through this before you take us out?
Well, you need to actually announce the list.
That's what I'm saying. Do you want me to go through the list before you take us out?
No, I say just go for broke, man. Go for broke.
I'm not sure what that means.
Just
You
go
want me to
for it. Just do it.
Okay.
Do the list.
All right.
Just do it.
All right.
Do it.
Okay. I'm
What are you
doing
waiting
it.
for?
God, I'm doing it now, guys. And the BBM Productions top 10 greatest soundtracks of all time are number 10, Back to the Future. Like, Doc, I need more batteries for my Walkman.
This is heavy.
Number 9, I'm going to go drive my VW Bug around and dance alone to the speakers, even though they're like 20 yards away.
Anger dancing.
Number 8, Girl Next Door. Hey, you guys remember the Chrysler Crossfire? Because that was like pretty much an ad for Chrysler Crossfire.
Crossfire.
Don't get caught up in the. Number 7, Dazed and Confused. Ben Affleck is just like always a dick, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Too true.
Number 6, Joe Dirt. Kid Rock was in that movie. Remember that?
He was
Brian's
a dick
face
in
right
that
now grows
movie.
in all white trashy like that.
Number 5, Varsity Blues.
So Varsity Blues, Mike, since you cut out a bit.
Varsity Blues. Coach, I just want to get brain damage for you, even though I'm like 17 or whatever. But I'm gonna get them for you. Go Cougars. Number
10.
4.
Sorry.
Were they the Cougars or the Wildcats? They were one or the other.
I think Wildcats. That sounds about
Wildcats, I
right.
think, yeah.
Okay.
No, the
It's-
West Canaan Wolves. I don't remember. What? Coyotes. The Coyotes.
It's me, Billy Bob. I'm gonna get brain damage for you, Coach, because I want to get this game in. Okay, let me review that one. Varsity Blues. Tweeter had herpes. Number 4, Gross Point Blank. Jeremy Piven's finest work, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Number 3, Baby Driver. The exclusion of Deborah by Beck in that movie is a crime, in my opinion, because the love interest is named Deborah. Number 2, Forrest Gump. Probably the finest use of any Creedence Clearwater Revival song in a movie, to be completely honest. Got a few honorable mentions here. We got Requiem for a Dream, Kronos Quartet, Shout Out, Pitch Perfect, Anna Kendrick Can Do No Wrong in my book, High Fidelity, Cold-Blooded Old Times. Look it up. Roddy Michelle's High School Reunion. I never actually saw this movie. I don't know.
Time after time.
Time after time, Lisa Kudrow proved that she was one of the queens of the 90s. Space Jam. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Also, as we established, that movie is too old for R. Kelly to piss on. And your number 1 greatest soundtrack of all time, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Kick the little rat thing. lying.
Well, thank you for joining us on this excellent BBM adventure. I wanted to make a Bill and Ted reference, but that failed. So leave a dislike or your disagreement in the comments, and we'll probably whine about it next time. Until then, bye.